Melanin Matters, honoring Black bodies through contrology. We hold safe wellness spaces where Black bodies can freely breathe, move, and thrive. We're on a mission to globally impact the Pilates industry while shifting the narrative of what Black wellness looks like. Because wellness is a right for all, not a privilege for the few. Welcome to another episode of Melanin Matters. I am Coach Renee, your mindful movement guide through your Pilates journey. And if you don't know, I allow my guests to introduce themselves so that they can share with you what they want you to know.
Welcome, guys. My name is Miss Mary, and I am a flexibility and stretch mobility coach. I've been doing it for about 5 years now, as well as a NASM certified personal trainer. And we are here at Soul Stretching Wellness, my one-on-one assistant stretching studio, to assist people who are working with their flexibility, mobility, and we help you reach your ultimate goal.
Okay. So you heard that. So she's trying to get all that stiffness out of y'all. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to talk about, as Miss Mary said today, is we talk about aging well, right? The importance of good flexibility and good mobility as you age, because a lot of times we get into life when life be lifing, and we sometimes forget or just outright neglect to stretch our bodies. And when we get like pulled muscles and sprained and strained tendons and ligaments and all that, and then it becomes an emergency.
Absolutely.
At that point. So how about we take this thing back? Your journey in wellness began where?
My journey began as a years ago as a certified indoor cycling instructor. So honestly, I didn't even start with mobility, flexibility, or personal training. My first certification was in indoor cycling, in which I was a participant of working out. I used to go to the gym all the time and just kind of work out as a gym goer. And then I'm like, oh, let me go ahead and see if I can get certified. I was taking classes at the gym, and I really liked the results I was getting. I really liked the way I was feeling. So I said, I can definitely do this as a career. So I went to get certified as a indoor cycling instructor.
Okay, that's step one. What happened next? What had happened was?
Next step, I was so inspired. I'm like, this is great. I'm helping people lose weight. People are coming. And so then I went on to group fitness.
Okay.
So that's more of a weight training, calisthenics kind of stuff. And then I went from there to as a personal trainer. From that journey, lasted about 5 years or so. Then I went over to mobility and stretching more recently.
Okay. So more recently, like how recent?
About 5 years ago.
Okay, about 5 years ago. Okay. So that's Miss Mary's journey. And as you can see, that we all don't come to wellness along the same paths, that there are many ways to wellness. I met Mary, oh my God. It's been over 20 years.
Yeah, I think we originally met at Salem.
At Salem, yeah. Hey, Salem, yeah. So it's been, over 20 years.
It's been a long time. I remember because I was trying to get my daughter into
cheerleading.
Yeah. And that's kind of how we crossed paths. And I think time had went on or something. And then we kind of, honestly, I don't remember how we met back up.
Right. I'm not sure. Was it back working out again at church? I don't know.
Yeah, probably so.
I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure. We're not sure. Our brains are seasoned.
That's what happens when you kind of get a little
Our
older.
brains are seasoned. Yeah, that's what the brains are. The brains are seasoned. But you also did something very significant last year. Would you like to share that? You know what I'm talking about? You became the first what?
Oh, the first Black-owned mobility and flexibility studio in Beverly, and honestly, the city of Chicago. And so as I did my research of stretching studios, I haven't saw one that's in Chicago at all that's Black-owned. So that was most of the most recent kind of.
That was a significant achievement, right?
That's huge.
And on the South Side. So when y'all come to
Side.
Chicago, come to the South Side.
Yes.
We got a lot of good stuff on the South Side. And then you also had a recent feature on Fox News. You want to share that?
Yep. So Anita from the Fox News came and did a story on myself. And so we actually went to the studio, Coach Robin and I, and we did about maybe 5 or 6 minutes of a synopsis of what happens here. So we did some stretching, some education. So we were featured on Fox News.
All right. That's good stuff. So if someone were to come through that door, what is the experience like once they get inside? Like, what's the first thing
And
you do
so
with them?
the studio is set up to have more of a spa, massage, relaxation feeling, which is one of the reasons why we moved here. We were previously down the street, a couple spaces down, but that place was really too big for us, and it was giving off a vibe of a gym. So we want to we fell back, we downsized, and we moved into more of a suite of a place. And this kind of gives you more of a massage, like relaxation. When you come in, you'll have the eucalyptus coming from the humidifier. The tables here are heated, and so you have a warm table to lay on there as well. So the ambiance is more relaxing, stretching, like you know what you are getting when you come through the door. So we have you take your shoes off to kind of give you that relaxation feel. We jump on the warm table here, and then we take it from there. So everything is kind of more of like a massage, spa, I'm here to relax kind of feeling.
Okay, so is there a standard procedure for stretching for everyone, or?
No, everybody's different. And so on your first initial visit, we do an assessment. We'll find out what your history is like. If you have any injuries, any type of surgeries recently that may be inhibiting your movement, then we kind of do the case synopsis, and we base your stretching on the subject information you kind of gave us, as well as what we feel when we move you around. So everybody's going to be a little different. You may have someone recovering from a knee injury or a knee replacement, so their stretching program may look a little different. You may have someone that's in their 70s or 80s who want to have general mobility, so your stretching may be different from an athlete who may come in. So everybody's a little different based on what we kind of find when we bring you in.
Okay, so are there commonalities? Like the most things that you see, like, is it back, neck, whatever?
Yeah, there's a very commonality with back pain.
Okay.
So we get a lot of people with back pain, a lot of people with knee pain. And so those are the two biggest ones we see, back and knee pain.
Yeah, because I know a lot of us be scrolling on the social media. You know, we sit and we're like,
just kind of looking.
like rounded over, or we just sit a lot, whether we're driving or on trains or on buses or in restaurants, like that kind of stuff. And that compounding effect of gravity on the spine, it tightens it.
It does. It does.
Okay. And so with the stretching, are there different directions you're stretching the spine, or is it just one direction?
It depends on what the person can actually physically tolerate. We do stretching all planes of motion. Depends on their physical capability to be able to withstand the stretching. So we do all planes of motion when stretching the spine. Our objective is to kind of lengthen the spine to make it long again, and then give you some instructions and some tools to kind of go forward to say, okay, these are the muscles you need to maybe possibly strengthen that supports the spine to kind of keep you from the back pain that you're feeling.
Okay, and I got a question. It's kind of funny. Have you had somebody to come in, okay, when you do the assessment, because it's a written assessment at first, right?
Just more verbal.
Okay, so have you had somebody come in and say, for instance, they gave you this history, like they was this athlete, and when you got to working on them, you found something
different. And so we get those all the time. It's like, we'll have someone come in and say, oh, I stretch all the time, and we don't really know why we're here. I just kind of wanted to check it out. But their hamstrings don't go past 45. Or you just feel the tightness in their bodies, and they haven't been stretching.
Right.
And then when they figure this out, they're like, oh, I've never been stretched like this before. So you just told me that you've been stretching like all your life, and you don't know why you're here. So obviously you're here because you haven't been stretching as thoroughly as you thought. So yeah.
Correct.
Get that.
Yeah, that's funny though. I mean, I was just wondering if people do that because sometimes when people give information for assessments, especially the written assessments, they want to appear like not as I don't want to even use that word. They don't want to feel as if they have so many things that are so challenging for them. And so they want to present this good thing. But if you, as the therapist, you're going to find it out anyway.
Those people come in, also the people that come in and say, I warmed up before I got here. So they may have done some bike riding. They may have done some actual stretching in the car. And they say, I want to do this before I actually come in to kind of get warmed up. So they think there's something they need to do to get ahead of the problem list that may be found. To say, I've been stretching. I've been stretching before I got here, so this is okay. And so we get both of those.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that though. I can see that because if you're coming to a place that's more rehabilitative and you thinking you just need a little relaxation because you're good, like I've been doing this. Yeah. And then you get here like, ooh, I didn't know I was that stiff. Like I didn't know.
Get it all the time.
All that was going on. Okay. Yeah. So population-wise, do you have more men, more women, more seniors?
That's the thing. I was telling a customer the other day that we have more men.
You have more men. Wow.
And so men are dominating the space, ladies. I'm telling you, like on a ratio of a 1 to 100, 75%.
75% are men? Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, like guys come in, they say, this is what I've been needing, and they straightforward and they get it. Women are like, I don't know, maybe, I don't need it. I'm stretching already.
That's interesting. Wow.
And that's like the age range from like 45 to 60-ish is the hot spot.
That's really interesting.
White men, black men, Polish men, just men. They come in, they getting stretched.
That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. They come in, they just relax as you want to be. Women are more of the chattiers. I'm like, lady.
So you gotta focus.
Right. And the guys come in, dead silence, and when they get to know you, they'll talk, but they're very particular, they're very on point, and they know what they want.
That's good stuff. Well, and I think that's a general thing, with men. It's like, because, they don't give you a lot of details in the story. Fellas, they don't give you a lot of details in the story. So, yeah, that is really interesting.
And you would think it would be the women. Right. And so the women that I do get are women from 50 to 70. So a lot of that middle age, baby boomer kind of age, but honestly, it's more 65-ish and up. So what's considered an old lady? That's what they expect.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Seniors.
That's good stuff. So then who would you recommend if you just had like and I know this may be an out-of-pocket scenario, but if you had to recommend stretching to one group, I mean, if it's not possible, that's okay. But I'm saying, but if you had to, like if you had a blanket recommendation, who would that group be?
I would think it would be more seniors.
Seniors?
Okay. Now they're at this age where their muscles may have kind of not be as strong as it was when they were 10 years younger. And so if anybody would be more of the needed population, would be more seniors. Because now you're thinking about fall prevention, you're thinking about longevity of life, basic functions like opening a jar, reaching for the jar out the cabinet. And so those are the functional movements they need to do to be sustainable and have that quality of life without falling, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Without asking their caregiver to come over and do things for them all the time. And so if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be seniors. What's considered a senior? Anywhere from like 66 up and up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I was kind of thinking new moms. Because, when your body has gone through that shock, of the whole pregnancy, the postpartum, and then just caring for an infant thinking that you have to carry the baby around everywhere. Like, I'm just thinking their balance, like a lot of things may be off, and then they may be exhausted and not able to move their bodies.
Yeah.
So okay. But senior, but you're right. The functionality is very important.
That's the main goal. People come and they want functionality.
Yeah. It's not always about, I got to get this 6-pack. I got to get this 6-pack. Like,
at this point, they're past the 6-pack.
Right. They
want to just be that guy that's 65 and still date 30-year-old women. I don't know. They still want, there's some guys.
Did y'all hear what she said?
And so that's honest to God truth.
You gonna be player? Oh wow. Okay. We're
not gonna get into what people say this, but it's the guys, ladies.
It's the guy. Okay. Well, listen. At least they're not coming in like the 10 man. I'm just saying.
Right.
They're not coming in like the 10 man. That is so funny. Okay, so let me ask you this: what is the largest number of people you have stretched in one day?
About 7.
7?
Yeah, that's a full day. That's a heavy day. It's about 7.
Okay. What's your average day?
About 4.
4 a day? Okay. And that's every day?
Typically about 5 days a week. So we're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So every day except Sunday. So about 6 days.
So you're chilling on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this. So what do you do for your self-care?
I have someone that I trust to come in and stretch me.
Okay.
So he knows stretching, so he comes and stretches me when I kind of call him. I do have what's called a self-care Saturday where I sit in the sauna at home. And so I sit there about 30 minutes or so.
Can you rewind that? Did y'all hear what she said? You sit in the what at where?
Sauna at the house.
She got a sauna in her house. Okay, go ahead.
So I have a room in my basement. It's called a she cave. Mm-hmm. And it has stretching things down there. It has everything you can think of under the sun to kind of help you relax, and obviously the sauna. So I try to do that every Saturday if I'm home. I sit in the sauna for about 30 minutes or so. Then I go upstairs and I sit in the Epsom salt bath. Mm-hmm. So I do the Epsom salt bath. I put Epsom salt in there. I put peroxide in there, and I put something else I can't think
essential oil?
Yeah, essential oils.
Okay.
And then I soak in there, obviously, for about 20 or 30 minutes, and I get out. I apply the CBD oil.
Okay.
And then I do stretching, then I just kind of hang out.
Okay. So now you just mentioned what you do for you using the essential oils and stuff. Do you use anything on people when you stretch them?
So we have essential oils that we use here. So I have a little blend I put together with some
I see them over oils. There. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I do that as well. Then I have a product with CBD in there.
Okay.
And so I use that based on the person saying they're okay with CBD. And so we do have applications of oil we can put on their shoulder, their knee, their back, and most likely their neck is what we kind of use most of the time. That can help them as well. Okay,
that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So are any people coming after like physical therapy, like after surgery or whatever, like when the insurance in America has run out? You know, any physical therapists? Okay, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
okay. Some of them are still currently in PT. Some of them are just finishing up PT. Mm-hmm. And some of them are kind of just done with PT altogether. So we get both kind of sides of the spectrum of people who want to feel better. Some people say, hey, I've been going through my chiro guy and I feel better coming here. So they just kind of discontinue the chiro and then they just come here.
Okay. Because we get that too. You know, in Pilates, we have people who, when their physical therapy sessions have run out or they're running low, the physical therapist is the one who's actually recommending that they come to Pilates, and they sometimes they mix them.
Yeah.
So like I can stretch out my PT, like maybe go once or twice a month and then fit Pilates in with that. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the physical therapist will send people as well.
I'm getting that too as well.
That's good stuff. That is good stuff. You deal with people in an intimate space. Do you have any rules or recommendations for how people should prepare, like in the way that they dress, like things that they should wear?
Typically, I just tell them to wear something that they will wear when they work out.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the gear would be more like an athletic jogging pants, leggings, or something like that. I've never had anyone really come in with something that was inappropriate for stretching, like a dress or something. So they typically know what to wear. I do have people who come in blue jeans.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how that kind of process for them, but they come in with blue jeans.
And you still stretch them with jeans on? Okay.
As long as the jeans are not like fitted jeans. Honestly, mostly it's the men that come in with jeans. And I'm like, well, to wear jogging pants and these old jeans. So we just stretch them with the jeans.
Okay.
So anything that kind of moves, like leggings, shorts, workout gear. And some socks.
Socks? I was just about to say, you see my face? I was about to say.
Socks.
What about on the feet? Because I got issues. If you come, especially if it's my mat. Now, if it's your mat, you do whatever you want. But if I'm supplying the mats for the class, put your socks on. Don't put your feet on, your bare feet on my mat.
Yeah. So that's why I put it in the notes, the comment sections to bring a clean pair of socks, not necessarily worn in your shoes. Because you'll get that too. They're like, oh, I got on socks, but you've been wearing them all day long. They probably smell. And so I say, bring a clean pair of socks where you can slip them on before you come in the door.
Okay. Do you have socks if they don't bring socks?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So
bring your socks.
Yeah, bring your socks.
Wear a pair and bring a pair. Don't bring them on your feet in the shoes and the boots you've been walking around in. Ooh, you said sweating.
Touch them. It goes on my shoulders. Just a lot of moving parts.
A lot. She said a lot. Just wear your socks. Just wear your socks. Keep your socks on.
Yes, I want to see
your socks
feet.
on. Oh, there's another thing.
Yes,
so you have taken a new direction in your wellness journey as a wellness professional, and that is down what street?
Pilates. And so just recently I've sat a couple of days in the workshop for Pilates, and so I'm looking to get certified in mat Pilates. Hopefully that'll kind of finish itself sometime in July of this year or August, after I've done my practice hours, my continuing education stuff. So I'll be certified in mat Pilates.
Listen.
Yes.
So now where did that come from on your journey?
Well, I've been inspired by quite a few Pilates instructors like yourself. So she kind of was like, do Pilates. I'm like, what is Pilates? And so I kind of fell in love with the science of it after hanging out with you. You know what I mean? And so it felt really good to do at the time. But I think what really clicked in when you get to that age where you need it. And so now you're at that perimenopause age. that menopause age, now you see your body is changing. And so Pilates would be one of those things that's going to help strengthen the pelvic floor, kind of give you that core center and balance that you're looking for. So it's going to give you all those fundamentals you need to age gracefully, like we see the older women coming in here for. And so I'm like, well, let me just do this a part of my stretching kind of career, and I can just add both of the two together.
Okay. So have you mapped out a special population, or you just want to do the general first and then?
General first.
Okay.
I do get a lot of guys to say they've done Pilates before, but I think my population for Pilates is going to be female between 45 and 65.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I kind of let mine morph, because I had ideas, in the beginning, like I'm gonna help everybody do Pilates, but
you can't.
Yeah.
That's how I was with stretching.
I learned.
Yeah. You can't help everybody. So you got to know your niche. You got to know your audience. Then you got to target those people and help the ones that really need the help.
Well, and then what I did, and this is just what I do. I mean, I know, you're a Christian as well, but I mean, I actually had to start praying about, God, send me the people who you want me to help, as opposed to me trying to go out and find people, because I was just trying to make this whole big generalized thing, like everybody should be doing this. Everybody. Yeah. And it wasn't easy. I can tell you it wasn't easy, because then you're trying to figure out, well, what am I to say, or what am I not saying, or how can I get this person's attention?
It's very confusing.
It's very confusing. So I started just allowing whoever, came in my space to help us to create this whole community. And that's that's where it came from. Our Melanin Matters community was sparked by actually an event. I mean, I had it on my mind just to, to make sure I create those safe spaces, for Black people to be in those safe spaces. It was an actual event that sparked it, the actual word. Like it was like, okay, this is going to be not the word, the movement. Because I had the words, our Melanin Matters. I had the words, but I didn't have the concept of it as a movement at the time until after we had an event.
Yeah.
We had an event, and the room was, cocoa butter, shea butter, avocado butter, mango butter. Yeah, it was a blackety black event. Yeah. And so that, sparked for me, it sparked that flame to say, we need this, right? We need this. And so I became more specific, more driven, more focused on, no, this is my population.
Right.
And I'm not excluding anybody else, but this is my people. Go ahead.
And that's one of the reasons why I brought stretching to the south side of Chicago. I learned the technique in a different area of Chicago, which wasn't necessarily populated by many of us, people of color. On a ratio of 100, we probably was like 2% of Black people. And so I'm like, let me just bring this same concept to the people of color community. And so that's how we got here on the south side of Chicago in Beverly. And so the same thing, you want to kind of like, man, we need this. And so that's kind of how it's been happening. So people, you go tell your sister go tell your neighbor go tell your brother. And literally that's kind of how it's been happening. We've been seeing like Blacks, Mexicans, everything that we kind of saw in the vision to come here for. And so it kind of happened that way.
Good stuff. So how do you advertise your services?
We kind of do like a little IG, but honestly, right hand up, we kind of just, it's word of mouth.
Word of mouth. You heard that, right hand up, word of mouth, word up.
Literally.
That's good.
Like I don't know, a percentage of 75%, it's been word of mouth.
That's
so
good
you
stuff.
go tell, like I said, your husband go tell his coworker. It's just been like 1, 2, 3, just word of mouth.
Just word of mouth.
And those are the kind of customers that make your service more of a valued service. Now you have a live customer who enjoys it, obviously, and they go tell someone else. So that's how.
Because you know how it is, girl. Let me tell you where I've been, right?
Or we get those people to be like, you know what, my sister knew I was coming here, so she said, well, tell me how you like it, and I'm gonna come.
Oh, so some people come and test it out for the other people.
So that's good stuff. Too. So yeah, I'm happy.
That is good stuff. When a person has come to you for a session, what happens after that? Like, do they get homework? Like, do you have different things you suggest that they do?
Yeah. So what happens is after your session, we'll give you what's called like a stretch summary. And I say, hey, Coach Robin, we found that your right side was tighter than your left side, or your shoulder was kind of popping out or whatever. So we'll give you a summary of what happened and what I found during the session, as well as these are the stretches you can do when you're at home, because we want people to have maintenance. And so we'll give you those maintenance stretches that's kind of linked to a video that will show you how to do the stretches correctly. And And then the next time I see you, I say, hey, Coach Robin, how were those stretches that we gave you for homework? Oh, they were great. So the key and the caveat to the success of the program is going to be the homework that you're going to do and different things of that nature that we put in the summary. I may say, hey, increase your hydration, watch your sleep patterns. So we kind of get into all that as the meat and potatoes grows in the program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds
yeah.
good. Welcome to Soul Stretch and Wellness, the place to stretch into a better you, offering flexibility and mobility services, located in Chicago, Illinois. For your services, do you have like packages of like a certain number of sessions or?
Yeah, and so we kind of structured the program under a 4-week program. So typically our sessions are purchased as a package or a membership 4 at a time.
Okay.
And so we kind of want to draw the program out for you for 3 months. So technically it takes about 4 to 6 visits to kind of see the results.
Okay.
And so if we put you once a week at the minimum for 4 weeks, you're definitely going to see some results. Then we revisit the next kind of stage in stretching after that. And so within those first 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to call what's a foundation phase. And so the foundation phase will definitely help you obviously feel better as you're stretching, talk about the education of stretching, allow the body to become more acclimated with stretching. Mm-hmm. And so that's all going to happen within those first 4 to 6 weeks. So there is packages that you can buy. Typically they're kind of purchased in 4.
Okay. So because you also want to be able to have a significant number of sessions to be able to gauge,
that's what I mean.
It's not magic. Okay. You don't come in and get one and then you're all fixed. You may feel better after one session, but give it a chance. And especially with stretch therapy. Yeah. Because you may be like, well, I can go stretch at home. I know you hear that
all the time. Mm-hmm.
You just be stretching people like I can stretch at home.
It's a whole science behind it,
So what was one thing that you found surprising, like before you became a stretch therapist, that you discovered along your journey as a stretch therapist that was surprising?
That one side of the body can be significantly tighter than the other.
Okay.
And so sometimes we operate in what we call normalcy. And so you may think that your limp was okay, right? And so it could just be a matter of one side not being as strong or as loose, and use that term, than the other side. So one thing I found was the one side of the body can be significantly tighter than the other side of the body.
So not when you found that out, but since you found that out, are you more keen to go and look in for that synergy in the body now? Yeah,
I'll definitely find it because we stretch both sides of the body. And so we do identify if Miss Jones' right side of her adductors were tighter than the left side of her adductors. Then we'll give homework according to that. We'll say, hey, we noticed that one side of your body was a little tighter. Just kind of keep that in mind as you go through your journey today or when I see you again or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I say, hey, Miss Jones, since this side here is a little tighter or a little looser, try to do some exercises that will target that one side to kind of give it that memory to kind of catch up to the stronger side. And so there's a different program for that, you know what I'm saying? So everybody has a different type of, homework, to say the least. Mm-hmm. And so we'll educate this client on the significance of and the awareness of keeping that one side of the body a little bit more aware to kind of do his job, opposed to letting the other side continue to take over.
Right, that compensation. Yeah, because the body, well, we already know that, but, in case you don't know, your body compensates for what is missing. And that compensation can come at a cost. Yep. So it doesn't mean that it's good. It means that, like you said, it keeps you functioning. And I stopped using the word dysfunctional like a long time ago. That's from my, counseling days and all that stuff, because, people say, well, this is a dysfunctional family. The way I look at it is it's functional. Yeah. It's just not healthy. So there's a difference between dysfunctional.
Yeah, that's the key.
Right. So it's not, that's just the way I interpret it. It's like, it's an unhealthy functioning of whatever it is, whether it's a family dynamic or whether it's the body. Yeah. So when the body is working in an unhealthy way of functioning, it's not necessarily identified as dysfunctional, at least for me. And so what's coming to mind for me is when people are in the end stages of life and when different senses or different organs, or different body parts are starting to either shut down completely or starting to slow down, the other ones come and pick that up. They come and pick up the slack for that. And then when the body itself is not functioning, then the senses, the ones that don't operate, with movement, start to take over, and they start to take over. So you may be thinking, like Ms. Mary said, like you may be thinking like, oh, I'm good, or I just got this little limp because I twisted my back in 1973. Well, ma'am, sir, ma'am, if it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, it's probably it's still a problem. So it's probably something else going on there. And then the other part to that is it starts to chop into the functioning of what's taking over, trying to help that, trying to pick up that load.
So it never really solves itself. It just kind of goes in a circle until you really find the culprit behind the dysfunction or how it's not functioning well. And
then we know, in at least where we are in America, right? A lot of times when we have things that are dysfunctioning, again, I don't like to use that word to identify things, but when things are not working in their optimal state and we go see healthcare professionals, chances are there's going to be a prescription written for that, as opposed to going, like you said, down to the deep root cause of that. And then that's when we have our alternative healing methods or healing modalities that we're able to tap into. But there are some states that naturopaths are not able to legally operate standalone. Ask me how I know. I learned that the hard way. But they're not able to operate as a standalone profession. They have to combine it with medicine. So you can be a medical doctor with the naturopathic emphasis, right? But you're operating as a medical doctor, even if you do know the natural ways of healing. And that's the money thing, right? So because how can you regulate sunshine, right? If you're telling the person to go out, to ground, get grounded, start, utilizing, the earth's energy, how do you regulate moon cycles, right? You can't. Right. You can't. How do you regulate spend time in blue spaces? How do you regulate go on a hike? There's
those things they're not medical, so you really can't regulate it.
Correct. They're not medical, but they're healing. We know that they're healing. And you have people who are energy workers, people who work with crystals, like all those sorts of things are legitimate. They are legitimate modalities of healing. So. Oh yeah, they are. They are, because they're ancient.
But you can't monetize it so much.
So So at least where we are in America, that tends to be a challenge when natural modalities are introduced, and then also the way that our minds have been conditioned to just give me a pill. Just give me a pill. Why are we doing all of this? You have to understand that if you decide that you're going to implement any form of a natural modality of healing, think about how nature operates. Like summer is not 3 days, right? You got to go through the whole cycle. You have to go through the whole cycle. So think about an oak tree. Think about how long it takes an oak tree to grow, right? Think about, how long it takes a bamboo. Bamboo is underground, right? I think this is so fascinating. Bamboo is underground from anywhere from like 5 to 7 years. But once it shoots up, you can't stop it.
No?
Right.
Okay.
That's fascinating. Like you don't see it. Like you just watching it and watching. Yeah. But then once it shoots up, because bamboo goes. It goes. But that's why it's so strong, because it's had a lot of time to work under the surface, to get, the roots, and the foundation of the tree when it shoots up. So just be mindful if you decide. I thought that was a real interesting fact. Yeah.
I never knew.
Yep. So if you decide that you're going to implement some form of natural therapy or some natural modality, your expectations have to be a lot more realistic to understand how nature operates. And so for me, and when I share this with people, that's what I have people think of. I have you think of, how does nature work, right? How long does it take the snow to melt from the first snowfall, right? You got to go through a whole season. It's not just going to go, well, I don't know, in the Midwest weather. I don't know. But typically, right, you get 4 seasons in one day. But typically, if you look at just look at the way a tree would grow, right? So if you want to look at it in that sense, or when you plant something, and then there are certain seasons where certain things don't thrive. And so you have to be open to that and understand that. And then just because And I'll say this too, for people who, I'm not saying don't listen to other people. You can listen to other people if you want, but be mindful that what worked for them may not always work for you. So you have to take that into consideration. Like, well, she was able to eat lettuce every day, or she ate broccoli or Brussels sprouts or whatever it was, and it's not working for me. You have to understand your body. You have to understand, your body. And then how your body is aging. When your body ages, it's like the reverse if you think about it, right? So you got a newborn baby with the soft bones, no teeth, no hair, right? They need help. The cycle comes back. Right? That cycle comes back. And so that assistance is needed. And so, that's why it's really important what you're doing is to give seniors their power back.
And that's the reason why we probably get so many seniors in here. We do get a lot of senior women who have went to osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, because now the process is starting to reverse itself in a sense.
So the bones softening up and all.
You can physically feel in the muscle that there's no muscle.
Wow.
So I've gotten to the point where if I could stretch you and I'm like, oh man, coach, you need to go work out, or your bones feel brittle. And then one lady was like, oh yeah, my doctor said I have osteoporosis. I'm like, yeah, I can feel it.
Wow.
Because it doesn't feel strong. Or you can feel if I get an oversized person in here, say for example, for a guy, I can tell that he's just oversized and he doesn't have muscle because he doesn't feel like he has muscles. And so it's hard to put the science behind it to explain it to you, but I can just physically feel whether their kind of bones are deteriorating or if they have no muscle at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to get to that state though. You don't want to get to that state.
I had one lady who doctor was like, you can't ride your bike anymore. You got to do X, Y, Z, because if you fall on the floor, your bones are like glass. And that's going to be it for you.
Oh, wow.
So she comes stretch once a week. She's a Caucasian lady. So she's kind of at that point where she's lost too much bone loss with the lack of movement, probably diet, maybe genetics or something. But now she needs to really kind of keep those bones and muscles strong as she can at this point, because you can't reverse and go back 20 years because it's not going to be the same.
Wow. So take care of your bodies. I believe, this is not a scientific fact, but it's just my belief. I believe our bodies get 20 years. We get 20 years to do damage. That's just me. Like 20, whether it's 20 straight years or 5 years here, 3, I'm like to do damage. And your body is like, you know what? Let me start shutting down on you because you're not getting it together. Right? That's just me. I mean, I didn't do any research on it. I just believe that. Like, I just don't think we get a whole lot of time, but I think we have some cushions where, okay, I should probably stop doing this, right? Like,
and your body will tell you to stop doing it too.
The body keeps the score. The body keeps the score. But this is what I want to ask you. I want to ask you something. What's the funniest thing? So don't use nobody's name. What's the funniest?
Miss Jones, it was you and I got you.
The funniest thing you've experienced with the client. Or just like at an event. It could be a fair because you do fairs and conferences and stuff too. But like in terms of like performing a stretch therapy sessions.
Well, this doesn't really happen too often, but someone may have passed gas.
Okay, somebody may pass. Child, people fart all the time in Pilates. They fart all the time.
And they feel very embarrassed. And like immediately like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or you get the latter end of it and they pass gas and they act like they don't know they pass gas. I'm like, just say, excuse me or something.
You can smell it.
It may not even have a smell, but they just go broop, and they come out and they just like next stretch. Then you have the next person be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, do you have spray? You got some spray?
I got spray, but sometimes you just gotta, honestly, I don't even see it or hear it.
No, I keep.
And so I can't be like, man, did you just fart? You know what I'm saying?
Well, no. I mean, I have spray. Like I have bottles of spray. But people, the movements in Pilates, gas is passed all the time in Pilates. So it's normal. Your body's gonna pass gas. But
Yep. So that's kind of the most exotic thing that may have happened. Somebody passing gas.
Okay. But that happens. So we're not laughing at you or your body. It does happen. You have a body and you got to think if you're being folded and you're being twisted. It could be a good thing. It could be a good thing because some people, I was about to say that some people's digestive system is so off that you need that movement to start to get things going. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's another benefit of stretching. You get those organs and those things in your stomach to move.
Yeah.
And
you get your digestive system going. Yeah. And the gas is going to come out.
And that's a good thing, could be.
Yeah. But then holding it is not a good thing either. So that's, there's a delicate balance there. But yeah, you're right. Something like that, could happen. But just, you have your...
Like, excuse me, hold on. I'm like, what are you doing?
Let me take care of that. Let me take care of that. Okay.
So that's, yeah.
We are winding down on today's episode, but we're going to have a little bit of fun with Miss Mary. So what I want you to do is share with the people 2 facts, 1 fiction in any order.
I have a cat, I have a dog, and I used to live on the East Coast.
Okay, you heard it. She has a cat, she has a dog, and she used to live on the East Coast. So you all answered that in the comments. Which one is the fiction? We want the one that is not true. Okay. Now, can you let people know first, the address of your suite and how they book with you for your services?
Yep. And so our address is 2320 West 95th Street in Chicago, Illinois. We're going to be located in Suite 13. You can go to www.divinediamond, DIVINE, diamondfitness.com to book or ask questions, or you can text us to book or ask questions at 708-316-7640. Yeah.
And any parting words?
I would just say give the stretching and wellness journey. It's a process, so give it a chance. You know, everything is not going to happen overnight. So if you are experiencing any type of those tightness or discomfort feelings in your body, you got to think about it. Like, your body has been functioning not optimally for years. So it's going to take a little time to kind of reverse the cycle of dysfunction, if you want to use that word. So give it a chance. It's a process, and once you get past that, oh, I feel better, it's going to be even greater the more you participate and the more open you are to kind of really seeing a journey through.
Okay, good stuff. And you know what I always say, wellness is a right for all, not a privilege for the few. And on that note, y'all take it light.
Peace out. Come on in. Welcome to Soul Stretch and Wellness, guys. The place where you stretch into a better you. We have the soft music here. As you come around to the side here. The hot towel warmer. Good. Essential oils here for pain, as well as our CBD. Check that out. Yeah. You come around here to our percussion massage guns. You kind of get some of those knots out of the muscles. Right. A nice cervical neck pillow, so you get rid of the neck pain while you're here. As well as our tables are nice and warm and relaxing, which is going to kind of help the stretch feel that much better. Then we have the little modalities here to kind of get deeper into the stretch as you progress into your wellness journey. Take care.
Thank you for watching. If you found value in this video, please interact with us by liking, commenting, and sharing with others who you feel may also benefit from it. Until next time, peace and many blessings.